Deuteronomy 18:1. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part, no inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of the Adonai made by fire and his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. The Lord is their inheritance, as he has said unto them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from them that offer a sacrifice, whether it be ox or sheep. And they shall give unto the priest the shoulder and 2 cheeks and the maw. The first fruit also of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him. Verse 5. For the Adonai thy Elohim hath chosen him out of all thy tribes to stand to minister in the name of the Adonai, him and his sons forever. And if a Levite come from thy gates out of all Israel, where he sojourned, and come with all the desire of his mind to the place which the Lord shall choose, then he shall minister in the name of the Lord his God. All his brethren the Levites do, which stand there before the Lord. They shall have like portions to eat beside that which cometh of the sale of his patrimony. Now, if you read, it says there that the priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part, no inheritance. They shall eat the offerings of the Lord made by fire and his inheritance. A lot of times we think just the priests, we know the priests eat the sacrifice, but this tells you right now that the Levites get a portion as well of the other offerings that are given. And what's important, again, this is how they begin to get paid. But what also is important here is verse 4. And you'll see how it becomes a bit more important when you see how they get the tithes as well. But verse 4, it says, the first fruit also of the corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him. So when you start getting into the corn, the wine, the oil, when you start getting into, and I'm going to read about it, the other part of the payment, the tithes, what they're getting is they're getting the food supply, the first of the food supply of the children of Israel. That's why you hear me say we not only have a CDC, or center, or what we would call today a Center for Disease Control, because they deal with infections and other things that travel through the air, but they also deal with the food supply that's given too. So that is like our Food and Drug Administration. That's what that is. And what's important about that is that the priests are also judges. So you just can't give them anything and expect them to eat it. That has never been the case throughout Scripture. Y'all turned away sacrifices, offerings all the time and gifts if they weren't up to par. So the Levites can, if someone gives the Levites first of their fruits or a tithe that's not up to par, or offering that's not up to par, the priest say it's not good enough, send it back. So, but the important part to look at as a whole healthcare system is that they are actually getting a portion of everything that we grow every year, and tithes that are given every 3 years. That's part of their payment, but it's also part of them knowing what the people are actually consuming. And that is very smart. It's efficient. It kills 2 birds with 1 stone, which, if you know, as I explain the law, you'll see that happens a lot throughout the law. But I'm going to go ahead and read, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and read Numbers and 18, verse 18. Numbers 18, and I'm going to start at verse 8. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, behold, I also have given thee the charge of mine heave offerings of all the hallowed things of the children of Israel. Unto thee have I given them by reason of the anointing, and to thy sons by an ordinance forever. So now we're talking about the priesthood. This shall be thine of the most holy things, reserved from the fire. Every oblation of theirs, every meat offering, every sin offering, every trespass offering of theirs, which shall render unto me, shall be most holy for thee and thy sons. In the most holy place shalt thou eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy unto thee. And this is thine, the heave offering of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them unto thee, and to thy sons, and to thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. forever. Everyone that is clean in thy house shall eat of it. All the best of the oil, and all the best of the wine, and of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer unto the Adonai, them have I given thee. And whatsoever is first ripe in the land, which they shall bring unto the Adonai, shall be thine. Everyone that is clean in thy house shall eat of it. Everything that openeth the matrix and all flesh, which they bring unto the Adonai, whether it be of men or beast, shall be thine. Nevertheless, of course, the firstborn of man shall surely be redeemed, and the firstling of unclean beast shall be redeemed. And it goes on, verse 18, and the flesh of them shall be thine, as the way breast and as the right shoulder are thine. All the heave offerings of the holy things which the children of Israel offer unto the Adonai have I given thee, and thy sons and thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Adonai unto thee, and to thy seed with thee. So, again, this is their payment. Now, imagine how they would look if there was a lot of sin going on in the land, which is also an important part about this. In other words, if people just kept giving these offerings to the priest, we all know what happens when you eat too much meat. You begin to gain weight. So this is also an incentive for them to deal with the sin that's going on in those priests' particular area, or we can call it a district. You know, if they are getting way too many offerings, and they have to eat these offerings according to the law, and their children's children, they gain weight. You know, a lot of brothers and sisters, especially a lot of brothers, get caught up eating lamb and, beef and things of that nature. They get caught up in that, not realizing how sick that can make you if you eat too much of it. It's just, it gets in your digestive system and it stays there. So this is also an incentive for them to deal with whatever type of sin might be going on in the land, to do their jobs, basically. To do their jobs to the best of their ability. So it's not, they aren't going to be too happy if people keep bringing them a whole bunch of sacrifices that they have to eat and their family has to eat. You know, as a matter of fact, they want as little of that as possible. They don't want a whole lot of it. You know, and that's important for people to recognize, for brothers and sisters to recognize. The priests do not want somebody offering up sacrifices 20 times a day, all day long. We can get away with that before the priesthood was established. In the Old Testament, you know, before the children of Israel came out of Egypt, you can get away with something like that. But when this went down, when this was established, the priests will be doing their jobs to keep sin at as much of a minimum, known and unknown sin, as much of a minimum as possible, which is a part of their job, which goes back to dealing with sin. One of the things that travels through the air like an infection. Let me go to Leviticus and 27, and now we're going to get into tithes, which is also how they get paid. Leviticus 27 verse 30, and all the tithe of the land, whether the seed of the land or the fruit of a tree, is the Adonai's, it is holy unto the Lord, or Adonai. And verse 31, and if a man will at all redeem all of his tithes, he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof. And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the roof, the tenth shall be holy unto the Lord. He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it. And if he change it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments which the Adonai commanded Moses for the children of Israel in Mount Sinai. And Numbers 18. And behold, I have given the children of Levi, all the children of Levi, all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle and of the congregation. Neither must the children of Israel henceforth come nigh the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die. But the Levites shall do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they have no inheritance. Speaking of the Levites. But the tithes, this is verse 24, but the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as an heave offering unto the Lord, I have given to the Levites to inherit. Therefore I have said unto them, among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. Thus speak, verse 26, thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them, when you take of the children of Israel the tithes which I have given from them for your inheritance, then you shall offer up an heave offering of it for the Lord, even a tenth part of the tithe. And this your heave offering shall be reckoned unto you as though it were the corn of the threshing floor and of the fullness of the winepress. And so that's where the 10% goes into the priest, which offer up the heave offering. But again, this goes back into what I said. They are like our Food and Drug Administration. That's what they are. They are getting a portion of the food supply every single year. So they know who gave it, who was bad, what food was nasty, who grew some bad food, who grew nasty food, who grew nasty animals. They're going to know it all. And they're going to know who did it, and they're going to know who to send it back to and who to talk to about it. And I'm going to read Deuteronomy 14, which is also about the tithes. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bring forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Adonai thy Elohim in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of the corn, of the wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then thou shalt turn it into money, and bind up the money in thy hand, and thou shalt go into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And then it goes on to bestow that money for whatever you lusted after, for oxen, sheep. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part, no inheritance with thee. At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within the gates. And the Levite, because he has no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the works of thine hand which thou doest. So that tells you right there it can be turned into money, which is what I said. This is also a part of their payment. This is how they get paid, with those tithes, with those offerings, with those sacrifices. Let's see here. And we also have the atonement money, and that is Exodus verse 30. And I'll just read, and this is when the children of Israel numbered. I should read the whole thing, but I start at verse 12. When thou takest the sum of the children of Israel after their number, then shall they give every man a ransom for his soul unto the Lord when thou numberest them, that there be no plague among them when thou numberest them. This they shall give every one that passeth among them that are numbered half a shekel after the shekel or shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is 20 gerahs, and half shekel shall be the offering of the Lord. Every one that passeth among them that are numbered from 20 years old and above shall give an offering unto the Lord. The rich shall not give more, the poor shall not give less than half a shekel, which when they give an offering unto the Lord to make an atonement for your souls. And thou shalt take the atonement money of the children of Israel, and shalt appoint it for the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Again, that it may be a memorial unto the children of Israel before the Lord, to make an atonement for your soul. And of course we have the first fruits, which is Exodus 22, verse 29. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors. The firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give unto me. Of course you redeem the firstborn of the sons. Likewise shalt thou do with thine oxen and with thy sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam. On the 8th day thou shalt give it to me. Exodus 23 verse 19. The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. Let's see here. And then you have Deuteronomy 26, verse 1 through 19, which also talks about the first of the fruits. Exodus 34, 19 through 20, and verse 26. Now, they also get the first of the dough. That's Numbers 15 and 17 through 21. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land whither I bring you, Then it shall be that when ye eat of the bread of the land, ye shall offer up an heave offering unto the Lord. You shall offer up a cake of the first of your dough for an heave offering, as you do the heave offering of the threshing floor, so shall ye heave it. Of the first of your dough you shall give unto the Lord an heave offering in your generation. So they're getting paid by the heave offering. They're getting paid by the first fruits, the atonement money, first of the dough, the tithes, other offerings, and sacrifices. That's how they're getting paid. Of course, like I said, the offerings go to the priest, and everything else is pretty much shared amongst the entire tribe of Levi. This again also makes them our FDA, our Food and Drug Administration, because they are getting the food supply, or a portion of the food supply that everybody else is eating. And with them being judges, or the priests being judges, this gives them a lot of power to determine just the quality of what's being eaten, and to judge whether it's good enough or not. So again, what we have essentially is like a Center for Disease Control and a Food and Drug Administration, all rolled into one, headed up by the priests and by the headed up by the Levites, which the priests come out of. Now, like I said before, this is the beginning of how our healthcare system, or how our healthcare system is established. We have also basically healthcare centers, which are cities within the other house of Israel's land. And again, I say this all the time. People need to remember that we are a nation of people. We have brothers and sisters in Nigeria right now who are waking up to the word, but they're turning to Judaism. And I understand why, because they look at us and they don't see us doing anything as a nation of people. So it's important to understand that we have these systems within our law. It's just a matter of understanding them, and that's it. And that's my job, a part of my job, to help brothers and sisters to understand these laws, these statutes, these commandments, and these judgments. Now, I'm not done with the healthcare system yet, because there's a little bit more to it. And I'm going to go ahead and post that on a part 2 or 3. I don't know if this one's going to be part 2 if I put those 2 videos together. But I'm going to put up another video about the healthcare system as well, talking about the sacrifices. So I hope you all got something out of this. Again, I'm starting up a blog, and I'll probably put the address of the blog on the next video, or put it down there in the section beneath me, as other people point down there if you look in that section beneath me. But I hope you all got something out of this, and shalom.